Hey, welcome to today's math lesson on long division. Our learning target today is I can use long division to divide larger amounts into smaller equal-sized groups. Now, if that sounds familiar, good, it should. That's just about the same learning target we've had for days now. The difference in today's work is that our dividends will be larger than 2 digits. So today we'll work with 3 and 4 digit dividends. And with that change comes one small difference in what we'll be doing. And we'll get to that as we work through these next 3 problems. So let's get started with this first problem here. This first problem reads 436 divided by 3. And before we get started, I just note that we have our long division steps here. We're going to divide first, multiply, subtract, bring down the next number, and then go back to the top and start over as many times as we need to so that we divide all the digits. All right, so let's get started here. I'm going to work in blue, I believe. Okay, yeah. So the first question we ask ourselves in this division step here is how many groups of 3 can I make from 4? Or what's 4 divided by 3? And of course, the answer is 1. So we'll write the 1 above the 4. That's our division step down here. Then we'll move on to our multiplication step. We'll multiply the 1 group times the 3 in the group to get 3. And we'll write that 3 down just below the 4. Okay. One thing you're going to want to really pay attention to today with your practice work, I'm just reminded of this as I started. There are no guide boxes today. So you're going to need to work really slowly and carefully to make sure all your digits are lined up today. Okay. This will be the first day where you don't have the guide boxes, and it's super important because long division can get really messy quick if you're not paying attention to lining up all your digits. So pay attention to that as I work through these problems, how I'm really taking care to line up my digits. All right, so we've done the first 2 steps. We've divided, we've multiplied 1 times 3. We have 3 groups of 3. Now we subtract. So let's do that. Let's subtract 4 minus 3. We'll get 1. That takes care of the subtraction step. All right. And then we'll bring down the next number. So that is the 3. It's the next digit. Let's bring it down, a copy of it, into our remainder. So now we have a new dividend, and we ask ourselves the same question. We're going to go from the 4th step to the 1st. We're going to divide again, okay? How many groups of 3? How many groups of 3 are there in 13? Or what's 13 divided by 3? They're both the same question. And the answer, because I know my reflex math facts, is 4. Because 3 times 4 is 12. And 12 is really close without going over. So I'll write the 4 above the number that I just brought down to create the number 13. All right, you see, noticing how my digits are all lined up so far? Yeah. All right, that's the division step. Oh, you know what? Let me back up a second here. I'm going to color code this. My second series of steps will be in yellow here. All right, there we go. So there's 4 groups of 3 and 13. So that's my second division step. Now on to multiplication. All right. We're going to multiply the 4 groups times the 3 in each group to get 12 in all. Okay. We'll write that 12 underneath the 13, making sure our digits are lined up. That's our multiplication step. Okay. Now we subtract. Okay. So let's subtract 13 minus 12. Get 1. That takes care of our second subtraction step. And now we'll bring down the next number, right? And that next number is the digit 6. We'll bring it down, right? And I like to even almost draw the arrows in so I could see where straight down from the 6 is. So now, all my place values so far are lined up. There's the hundreds and the tens. We're going to start working on the ones here. And I got to keep going. So new color to show the third repetition of these same 4 steps. We'll come back to the top. We've brought down our number, and now we're going to divide again. We'll ask ourselves, how many groups of 3 can I make from this 16 here? What's 16 divided by 3? And again, thanks to reflex math, I know that there are 5 groups of 3. So I'll write the 5 above the number I just brought down, the 6. That's my third and final division step. Now I have to multiply. So I'll do the 5 groups times the 3 in each group, which will give me 15. That's really close to 16 without going over. So I'll write that, lining up my digits underneath the 16. That takes care of my third multiplication step. And now I'll subtract. what's 16 minus 15? So let's do that. Let's subtract. We'll get 1. That's my third and final subtraction step. And now we go to bring down the next number, but we see that there are no more digits. We're done. So we can check that off our list. We've done all the steps 3 times in a row. And we have our answer. We are going to, let's see here. We're going to bring our remainder of 1 up into our answer line, and we'll write lowercase r, remainder 1. So our final quotient is 145, remainder 1. 436 divided by 3 is 145, remainder 1. And again, note that all the hundreds places are lined up. All the tens places are lined up. All the ones places are lined up. Super important. Let's try another one. All right. Here we have 748 divided by 9. And now here comes one new thing. Are you ready for this new thing? What's not new are the steps. We're going to start with these same multiplication steps. We're going to start by dividing, and we'll ask ourselves, how many groups of 9 can I make from 7? Well, if I have, let's see, 9 M&Ms, I'm sorry, if I have 7 M&Ms, can I make a group of 9 from that? Can I pull 9 M&Ms aside and make a group from these 7? No, it's not enough. No. So similarly, we can't divide 7 by 9. So you know what we do? We actually combine the first 2 digits. And now we look at 74. And we ask ourselves, how many groups of 9 are there in 74? And we do that anytime that first digit isn't big enough to divide by our divisor. And 7 is not big enough to divide. Let's combine it up with the second digit. And now we can divide. Now we can say, oh, I know my 9s tables. 9 times 7 is 63. 9 times 8 is 72. Let's do 8 groups. So we'll write the 8 above the last digit in the number we're dividing. So the last digit, the number we're dividing is the 4. And that is where the 8 goes, above the 4. And here's another way to think of it. What was the answer when I asked you, how many groups of 9 can we make from 7? The answer was none, right? So if we wanted to, we could have put a 0 here. And then you'd have the 0 step. But we can skip that, right? We don't need to write the 0, although if you wanted to, you could. You certainly could, but we don't need to. So that's why that's another way, though, to know that the 8 goes above the last digit in this number that we're dividing, 74. All right, so that is the first division step. And that's what was a little bit different, okay? Now we're going to get to the multiplication step, and we'll multiply. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and just divide. Erase that. Now we're going to do the multiplication step. Let's do 8 groups of 9. That's 72. So we'll write the 72 below the 74 and line up our digits. That takes care of the first multiplication step. And now we're going to subtract 74 minus 72, and we'll get 2. And then that's the subtraction step right there. Okay. And then we'll bring down. So let's bring down this 8 into our remainder to create a new dividend. That is what's left to divide. That takes care of our bring down step. And now we'll go back to the top and we'll divide again. Back to the top. Let's divide again. How many groups of 9 can I make from 28? Well, if you know your 9s tables, you know you can make 3 groups of 9. That is this. Oh, I did it again. Let me go back. I did it again. Let me use the new color. We can use 3 groups of 9. That is a second division step. There are 3 groups of 9 in 28. Now we got to multiply. 3 groups of 9, that's 27. So we'll write the 27 under the 28, keeping our digits lined up. That's our second multiplication step. And then we have to subtract. Step 3. So let's subtract 28 minus 27. We'll get 1. That's our second subtraction step. And then we need to bring down the next digit. And, wait a second. There is no next digit. We're done. That's it. Huh. All right. So let's take our remainder. Let's bring it up into the answer line. Okay. Our complete answer is 83. The remainder of 1. That's the quotient. 748 divided by 9 is 83. with a remainder of 1. And look at that. We did it in just 2 steps. Huh. And that's because we didn't divide 7 by 9. It's too small. We started with the first 2 digits. Kind of saved us a step, didn't it? Isn't that interesting? Let's take a look at one more. All right, here we have, oh my gosh, a 4-digit dividend. Here we have 5,693 divided by 7. You know what? No matter how big this dividend gets, no matter how many digits there are, these 4 steps to long division will never, ever change. That's the beautiful thing about long division. If you know these 4 steps, we'll just keep repeating them until we're done. So let's go ahead and just do that. All right, step 1. Let's go ahead and divide. Starting with this very first digit all the way to the left, how many groups of 7 can I make from 5? Well, let's see here. 5 pennies. How many groups of 7 can I make? None. 7's too big. So just like the last problem, we have to actually look at the first 2 digits, 56, and ask ourselves the division question. What's 56 divided by 7? Or how many groups of 7 can I make from 56? The same question. And if you know your reflex math facts, you know the answer is 8. And we'll put that 8 above the second digit in the number, right? All right, so that was our first division step. So let's go to our multiplication step. Let's multiply these 8 groups of 7 equals 56. Oh, what do you know about that? That's perfect. So we will write the 56 underneath the 56, just like that. That's our first multiplication step. Now we're going to subtract. So let's do that. And we're going to get 0. That's our first subtraction step. And now let's bring down the next digit. And that next digit is the 9. Let's bring it down, a copy of it, and write the 9 next to the 0. Okay, that's our first bring down step. And now we return to the top, and we'll divide. And we'll ask ourselves, how many groups of 7 can we make from 9? Of course, the answer is 1 group of 7. We'll write it under the number that we just brought down. So everything's lined up. All my digits are lined up. Okay, so that's our, oh, I did it again. Let me write that in a different color. There we go. 1 group of 7 in 9. So let's do that. That's our second division step. Now we will do the second multiplication step and multiply 1 group of 7 times 7, and that equals 7. So there's our multiplication step. We'll write that under the 9. And now we're on to our subtraction step. Let's subtract 9 minus 7. That's 2. We've done our second subtraction step. And now we have to bring down. For the second time, let's bring down this last digit here, 3, into our remainder. And we have 23. And we go back to the top of our steps. We divide. How many groups of 7 can I make from 23? Or what's 23 divided by 7? And the answer is, you got it, 3. Oh, no. New color. Boy, I'm not going to remember that, am I? 3. That's our third and final division step. And now we have to multiply. 3 groups of 7 is 21. So write the 21 under the 23, keeping our digits lined up. We've multiplied for the last time. And now we're going to subtract. 23 minus 21 is 2. That's done. And now we're going to bring down. But there is no more digits to bring down. There are no more. We're done. So we're going to take our remainder of 2, bring it up into our answer line, and write lowercase r, 2. And our final quotient, 5,693 divided by 7 is equal to 813 remainder 2. Today, I want you to use long division to divide larger amounts into smaller equal-sized groups with dividends that have 3 or 4 digits. All right, let me know if you need help. Let's get to work.